Hello.
Hello.
Okay. All right. He didn't change it again, did he?
Eh?
He didn't
No,
change it again.
I don't think so, but it's probably going to be a bit late. But it's a fast flat. It's 1 1/4, really.
Let's see here. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a quickie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So you're going to learn all night?
I doubt it. I used to do it many, many years ago, and I ruined the next day and the day after that. It's like
Yeah.
you're a vegetable, and you can't learn anything. All you're doing is drinking coffee and eating cheesecake.
Yeah. I don't need that.
Yeah. I know. I find it hard to be. I know. I just can't get interested. It's it have to be some. It would have to be like the greatest speech in the world ever. Although Shlomo's speaking a couple places, Rabbi Einhorn.
Yeah.
So he has some interesting topics, but still, it's like he's speaking in Israel 4 in the morning. There's no way I'm going to be there 4 in the morning.
And then Rabbi Segelman speaking at 3 and at 5.
Twice?
Twice.
Gosh, I don't know.
He
I can't
probably
do it.
he can't sleep.
Maybe when you're young, you can get away with it. It's no way. I'm not going to kill myself.
Listen, the Mincha's at 7:40. We'll be home by 9, right?
Yeah, they wait a very long time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hi, Ernie.
Hello.
Hi. We are on 21. Hafala.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we are going to learn at the shul tomorrow.
Yes, I already sent the message.
I think 6:15, right?
Yeah,
And then Shabbos 6:15.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we said Mikol Mokum Kasha. It's remember that that Zairi said that if you break the neck bone with the majority of the flesh, it's already considered dead. So when you do the malika,
Right there.
you're basically doing malika on a dead bird.
Eleni, I have one question. Menika is only done by Kohanim, right?
Correct.
Because sometimes when you talk about it, it seems like it's a common thing. It's not.
No, it was only done in the Beis Hamikdash on Achata Sa'of and an Ola Sa'of.
Yeah.
2 bird korbanos. Yeah, but bird korbanos were very common. They were much cheaper. The women brought it after they gave birth. They brought birds, so it was actually quite a common korban, probably more common than the animal korbanos.
Ah.
It was much cheaper, and you could get away with a lot of the korbanos. You could get away with a bird.
Mm-hmm.
So what he did is he broke the neck bone, but not the tissue around it. He said it's a dead bird if most of the tissue and the neck bone is disrupted, then it's dead. But when they did the malika, they just disrupted the bone itself or the spinal cord with the bone, and then he cut the simonim. Then he wasn't doing malika on a dead bird. He saw like Rab Zera. Walter, we're on Chaf Aleph, Amid Aleph, few lines. Walter, what time is Mincha tonight at Shul? 7:30?
7:40, 7:47, I think. I'll check for you.
7:45, you mean? The dinner is called for at 8:40.
I'm just telling you that you know how they write stuff on the thing. 7:47.
7:47. Okay.
I think so. 7:45.
Yes, please.
For that.
Yeah, this is
Please
important.
shut the water. Please. Do you want me to do it, or are you going to do it? Sue? Okay, 1 second. 1 second.
Walter,
Yeah.
you don't check your text, no?
Huh?
You don't check your text.
Yes, I know. I didn't have a chance. I thought I'm late for the Shia, right? Why? You know that I came on and I left.
Mm-hmm.
Watching,
I
watching,
know everything. Big brother.
watching like a hawk.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Ernie Mincha is at 7:47.
Thank you.
7:47. Candlelighting
Right,
is
and we're learning at Young Israel tomorrow
35.
6:15 and on Shabbos at 6:15.
Okie dokie.
Yitzhak Rab Zera, when Rab Zera made Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael, Ashkel Ravami the Yosef Karmel Shmaitza. He was saying over this din of Zeiri that if you break the neck with the Rov Basar, it's considered an Avela. So Rav Zera said, "V'chimesa omed u'moilek." Then how can we do malik on a bird like that? He was confused for a moment. Who I said, Rav Zera solved the problem by saying, below Rav Basar. The Kohen with his fingernail went through the neck bone and the spinal cord without the Rav Basar. And then he cut the simonim. That is not malik on a dead bird. How did you malik on a chatas of? Chotech shidrum afrekas below Rav Basar. The Kohen went in with his fingernail, divided the bone with the spinal cord without the majority of the tissue. Then you reach the esophagus or the trachea. And if he reached there, he just has to cut either one of them or 51% of them, and then Rav Basar Imo, and then more, you get rid of the other tissue around the neck. By an all, you have to cut both simonim. Mani. Dafka. It's not the Rov Basar, according to Chacham, they have to cut both of them completely. Rab Shimon, Rav Shnaim. You only have to cut part of it. So, Ema Shnaim Rabbanon, Rav Shnaim Rab Shimon, and a Chanami. You have to cut both of them according to Chacham. According to Rab Lozer, it's enough part of it. V'boy Sema Hava Rab Lozer Rab Shimon, Umay Shnayim Shedoyim Lishnaim. It looks like they've been completely cut, but the majority, 51% is enough. Shmuel. Nishbar Mafrekas Rav Basar Ima. Now we're talking about a human being who broke his neck and most of the tissue around it. He's like a dead person. Metame ba'oel. Somebody who's in the room with him gets tumah. He's considered dead. Even if his limbs are still moving, because it's considered like death. Vim toimar, oisa ma'ishta the Eli. Remember, Eli the Kohen Gadol, when he heard about that the Aron HaKodesh was taken prisoner, he leaned back on his chair and he broke his neck. And if you're going to tell me Mafrekas Blov Basar Havi, there he broke his neck without the tissue. Yet it says he died, even though there was no removal of tissue. So the Gemara answers Ziknashai. He was old. When he's told that the Aron Elohim was taken captive. When he fell backwards out of his chair. He broke his neck and he died. Because he was old and heavy. So that it was his age. Otherwise, he would not have died. Because unless you have the removal of the rov tissue, then it's not fatal. If you cut a person along his length, like you cut a fish, he also is considered like a dead person. Like a fish, you open him up from the front. But Amr Shmuel Bar Yitzchak Umigabo here is you open the person up from behind, from the back. Then he's considered like a dead person. the thigh of an animal was removed, and you could see inside the cavity of the animal, then it's nevela. It's also considered a death. The animal will sort of crouch, and it looks like you can't see its leg. If you can see the inside cavity, when it crouches, it's a sign that the limb has been removed, and it's considered nevela, even if it's still moving. It's not awesome. Hutsu Roshea. If you have the 8 shrotzim, the creeping, crawling things, and the simonim of that animal were cut, and his neck bone and rov basar, afal pishim afarchasin, even though they're still moving around, tmein. Kizonav al toshim afarchas, like you cut a lizard's tail off, and it still moves. It's got neurological function still. My hutsu, what does it mean, hutsu? Reish Lakish Amar hutsu mamish. That the esophagus and the trachea were divided. Ravasi Amar Ravmani, bavdalas, kavdalas, oilas ha'of. Like when you separate bird ola. Where even 51, Amarle Rav Yirmiyah Rav Lasser, Ravasi, bavdalas, oilas ha'of rabbanon, where you need both, 100% of both esophagus and trachea to be divided, velo palgitu, and really they're not arguing, oidilma, bavdalas of Rav Rab Shimon, and they are arguing, palgisu, because he only requires 51% of both. Amarle, kavdalas of Rab Shimon, they do disagree. According to the second opinion is according to Rabbi where you only have to cut 51%. Ikedi Amri, Rav Shimon Lakas Amar Hutsu Mamish, both esophagus and trachea have been divided. Ravasi Amar Rav Mani Kavdos of Rab Shimon, which is only 51% per Rav Shnai. What is this machlokes between the Rabban and Rab Shimon? My Rabban and my Rab Shimon. The Tanya. Ves hasheni yasa oile kamishpa. One bird will be a chatas, the other will be an ola. Ki mishpat chatos behema. It'll be like the laws of the chatos behema. And this is in a case where you're bringing the two birds in place of an animal chatas. We're talking about a sliding scale. Avera, like you were tamei and you walked in the base of Mikdash. So there, if you're a wealthy man, you bring an animal. If you're less wealthy, you bring a pair of birds. If you're less wealthy, you bring a mincha. So let's say he's bringing birds. So there's a hekesh between the bird ola and the chatas of an animal. Does it refer to chatas behema? Since you're dealing with an ola sa'ov, rather than making a hekesh to a chatas that's from an animal, maybe it's comparison to a chatas of a bird. So no, a bird ola is brought. The Torah made a distinction between a bird chatas and a bird ola. So the ola sa'of has to follow the chatas behema. My chatas, and what laws? My chatas behema ain't above elaben chullin. You have to bring. You cannot bring it with money from Meiser Sheni. It's got to come from Chullin. And uvayom, the korban is only in the daytime. Uviyodo yemonis, you have to use your right hand. Af oil sa'oif ain't above elaben chullin. The oil sa'oif comes from Chullin. Uvayom, it has to be brought in the day. Uviyodo yemonis. Now, we know an animal, definitely when the esophagus and the trachea, you need to cut both of them, and it has to be more than 51%. Malal and Brov Shnayim, Avkan Brov Shnayim, through Malika. So you might think that a bird ola needs the majority of esophagus and trachea. Talmud Lemer, Umolak v'hiktir. You shall do Malika and burn it. Ma'ak to'ar rosh ba'atzmo v'aguf ba'atzmo. A bird ola, eventually when you burn it, you burn the head separately and the body separately. Af malika rosh ba'atzmo v'aguf ba'atzmo. So clearly, you've got to divide. You can't leave 51% of the trachea and esophagus. You can't remove the head that way. You've got to remove, you got to cut through 100% of the trachea and the esophagus. It's got to be completely cut. Then eventually, because the head will be removed from the body and burned separately. That's the first way the Gemara learns. Rabbi Shmuel Omer, no. Kamishpat chatasov. This first part of the Gemara said that when you compare the oil of, we compare it to a chatas behema. Rabbi Shmuel says, no, we compare it to a chatas ha'oif. Ma chatasov bimul oirev. The malik has to be done from the back of the neck. Af oil of bimul oirev. Same thing by the oil of. Imala halan moileg benu mavdil b'simen echad. When it comes to a chatas, you don't. In fact, it says lo yavdil. There's a lav to cut the second tube. You only have to cut one, either the trachea or the esophagus. In fact, it's a lav to cut the other one. Afkan moilek v'enu mavdil b'simen echad. Maybe with the bird ola, the same thing. Talmud Omer v'ikrivo. You bring it close, and therefore the bird ola has a different din than the bird chatas. The lav of cutting the second trachea or esophagus only applies to a bird chatas, not to a bird ola. So we've had the Tanakama, we had Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon Omer, kamishpat chatas al. So he agrees to Rabbi Shmuel that the comparison is not to a chatas behema, but rather to a chatas oath. And the Gemara will continue malahal on there, so we'll continue that tomorrow in shul.
Okay.
Everyone have a wonderful yontif, have a wonderful
Torah. Anybody wants
Yontif.
to hear a very good divrei Torah tonight? Ernie's giving a shir at
Wow. Okay. Are you
Okay.
bringing chickens? Are you bringing chickens in your fingernail?